And we're live. All right. Hey, welcome back to Biktrix Live on a smoky Friday afternoon here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I'm Shannon, your host, and today's topic is sizing your e-bike. There's a lot more to it than you might think of. So we're just going to start off at the top with step over versus step through. Here in front of me, I have my trusty assistant, Willow. You've met her before. It's my 19-inch step through Ultra Duo with the 27.5 inch by 3 tires. And I've also got behind me a 19-inch step over classic duo, Ultra Duo in a 19-inch. I've got some other sizes and different things to show you, but first I want to just go over step over versus step through and the benefits of each when considering your new bike. So traditionally, in the long ago, okay, maybe not that long ago, but long enough ago, this would have been called a women's bike, and this would have been called a men's bike. Why don't we call them that? Well, because we don't need to unnecessarily gender our bikes, and people can ride whichever work best for them. A step through is a super accessible choice for somebody who maybe has some mobility limitations or wants something that's easy to get on and off of. Maybe a step over has hurt you before. We'll get into that in a minute. And a step through just makes a little more sense. So these are both technically 19-inch bikes. I am 5'4" with a 29-inch inseam. That'll all make sense in a minute. I can ride this 19-inch step through. I could not ride a 19-inch step over. The big difference there, this top bar and my inseam. We'll get into that bit here in just a second. Now, I keep saying, oh, this is a 19-inch and this is a 19-inch, but I also have a 17-inch and this one says it's a 20-inch. What are all these numbers? How do bike sizing work? So if you've come from an analog bike or a non-electric bike, you may have ridden something that was a 21 or 26. What is this number referring to? The measurements are actually taken here at the seat post down to the crank in the middle. And why would a 19-inch e-bike fit somebody who normally rides like a 21-inch non-e-bike? I'll show you. Got my handy dandy measuring tape. One of the things that traditional bike sizing doesn't take into account when it comes to e-bikes is the motor. So we've adjusted some of the geometry of the bike to accommodate that motor because you need that extra clearance so you're not bashing your motor on the ground. So we would measure from here to here. And now, according to this, it's an 18.5, but we don't measure things in 0.5s. We just round to the next inch. So this is a 19. So a 26-inch e-bike, you're probably never going to see that. That would be just so big, just like a lot of bike. And you're going to hear probably a little bit of background noise. Once again, we're in HQ. Guys are loading trucks. FedEx is here doing a pickup. So maybe yours is on the way. As always, if you have any questions for me during this Facebook Live that's pertinent to the topic we are filming, please go ahead and pop those in the chat. Alex will let me know as they come up, and we'll be happy to answer those. Now, that's just one of the bike measurements to consider when looking at purchasing an e-bike. So the bike size, which as I said is measured here. The other one to consider is your standover height, which on a step through, not as important because it's going to measure it like right here, just in front of the seat here. So a step through kind of negates that. So I'm just going to move this one out of the way. We're going to have a little better look at this one. Your standover height is going to be measured about here, right where you would stand over the bike to the ground. So that is something to really take into account when you're choosing a bike. The step over height and a minimum seat height, or max if you're a tall person, are the two big measurements to take into account. So minimum seat height is from the ground to the top of the seat when the seat is all the way down. The max is when it's at the highest point it can be raised safely for the seat post that is on it. Usually we run into minimum seat posts. Now, what do we need to compare those to? Well, there's a few measurements on our body that we need to consider. The one that's the most important is going to be your inseam length. And sometimes when we ask folks, well, hey, what's your inseam? They're not really sure. So I'm here to help you out. Your inseam is the length from about here down the inside of your leg to the floor. If you buy jeans, you're going to see a number on the tag generally that says like 34x30. That second number is your inseam length. So that's a good cheater Peter way to find it. Or if you're one of those rad husbands that's picking up a bike as a surprise for their wife, but you don't want to ask her inseam because it's a weird question to ask out of the blue, go check her pant leg. That'll give you the information. I've had a few guys do that. It works really well. So to measure inseam, I'm just going to get a lovely assistant in here. Yeah. SJ, many of you have probably talked to her via email. SJ, and this clipboard. So to measure your inseam, if you're, just been wearing loungewear for the last year and a half, and it doesn't have an inseam length on it, and you're just not sure, here's a tried and true method to do so. So SJ is going to take her sandals off. You want to do it in socks or in bare feet to get the most accurate measurement. And you're going to take a book, or in our case, a clipboard, and you're going to snug it up the inside of your legs all the way up. Ideally, you would stand against the wall just to keep everything nice and flush, but we're floating in HQ today. And then you're going to do this. Yeah, you want to stand nice and straight, legs straight. You don't want to bend. And then you're going to go from the floor to the top of the book. SJ says about 26.5 according to this tape measure. And so now we know SJ's inseam. Thank you, SJ. Now with a 26.5 inch inseam and a bike that has a 29-inch standover, I know right away that SJ is not going to fit that bike. It's not going to be comfortable. She may be comfortable climbing up on there and going for a ride, but if she has to come to an abrupt stop, she's not going to be able to stand over that bike comfortably. However, on a step through, that's another story. It'll fit her, gives her a little more room to maneuver with a step through. So those are the ones you super want to consider. All right, I'm going to bring in my next lovely assistant, Clayton, to show you sizing up versus sizing down. So we find this is pretty common with folks kind of in that 5, 8, 9 to like 6 foot range. You kind of fall in the middle of two sizes. In this case, the 19-inch and the 17-inch step over duos, or step over anything for that matter. Often when folks email us and ask us, hey, I'm between sizes, or how tall are you, Clayton?
173 centimeters, 5'8" and a quarter.
5'8" and a quarter with how much of an inseam?
30.
With a 30-inch inseam. I'm kind of in between. Technically, with a 29-inch standover, he could stand over it, but it still might not be the most comfortable standover height. Should I go up? Should I go down? What's the best bike size for me? And Clayton's the perfect specimen to show this off. He also told me to say he's perfect. All right, so first up is the 19-inch step over. Clayton, if you just want to like hop on, I want you guys to note that the seat is at its lowest height. And while he can get on this bike, it technically kind of fits him. We can see like his toes, he's kind of wobbling back and forth on his tippy toes, and he's got no room to make any adjustments to this bike, really. He can only go up. Thank you, Clayton. You want to hop off that one? And then let's wheel this one in, and if you can wheel that black one. Compared to this 17-inch step over, they both have the same size wheels, same model of bike, all good. We can see here he's a lot more, not all the way flat-footed, but not on his tippy toes. He's got room to move. Again, the seat is all the way down. He has room to adjust it up. It's always easier to get the smaller size and adjust the bike up than it is to get the bigger size and be stuck at kind of comfortable. So that's why where there's the option, we do recommend, if you're bridging sizes, to size down. How's that one feel, Clayton?
Better.
Good. Awesome. We can hop that one off. And then while I have you, again, like I mentioned, this is the 19-inch step over. I don't have one of the 17s on hand to show off to you guys today. It is just a little bit smaller and does fit a wide variety of folks. So if you were on maybe the shorter side, I would definitely consider a step through and something maybe with a 24-inch wheel set. But like I said, this one's a 19, seats up. I'm not putting it down because I just got it where I like it. But Clayton, if you want to hop on that one and tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is the same as where I was on the other one, but if I had to come to a rough stop, I'd
Not
be
get
a lot
hurt.
happier.
Yeah, exactly. And which is why me at 5'4" is comfortable on this bike as well. All right, if you just want to hop off. Excellent, thank you. All right, and then we've got our tall beans. This is Gavin. He's been with the company for ages and ages and done like a little bit of everything, basically. We needed some tall folk representation to show off. So this is the 19-inch Gavin, if you just want to like hop on and we'll kind of show off the difference.
I'm 6'2", by the way.
6'2", what's your inseam again?
33.
33-inch inseam, so he's a leggy boy. And as you can see, it fits him a lot different. He's got room to adjust. Perfect, hop off. And then I'm gonna roll this one if you wanna roll the brown one out. All right, and then here's the 19-inch again. And as you can see, it fits Gavin quite well at his height, and he's got room to adjust. He's also got room, he could bring the handlebars up with the adjustable stem. Would that be the size you go with if you were buying one?
Oh, definitely.
Perfect.
Especially with room, if I wanted to run a suspension seat post, I have enough
Yes.
room that I can actually fit it. Still.
Perfect. So Gavin just mentioned suspension seat posts, and that's actually really awesome, and I forgot to think about that during prep, but we're going to talk about them right now. Do you want to grab me one? Yeah. So a suspension seat post is a super popular add-on for folks. They're called the Thudbuster LT or the Thudbuster ST, and he's just going to grab me one. I'm going to show it off here in just a second. That is something that you might not think you need to consider your height for compared to the bike, but you absolutely do. Thank you. This is an ST, correct? Yes. So this is a Thudbuster ST suspension seat post. It's going to replace the stock seat post, and it just has like a suspension head here to add a bit more cushion to your ride. They're pretty cool, but as you can see, this is going to add some height to your minimum seat height. Come get a close up. Here, I'll come around. I'll Vanna White it. Against my black shirt, it works so good. Here we go. So that's a short travel. The ST refers to short travel, which means it has a shorter post here. The long travel has a slightly longer post, which is great for taller folks that need more room to adjust their seat. So like I said, this is gonna go in here. And the minimum that this post can go in is about there. I would probably not personally put this on my bike because it is a taller bike and I am a shorter person, because it's gonna raise my seat height, my minimum seat height, by 3 to 4 inches, which can be tough for some of us who are a little vertically challenged. Alex, do we have any questions coming in on the chat that you can see?
Benefits of step over versus step through?
Benefits versus step over versus step through. I did cover those off the top, but just to recap, a big part of it is accessibility, ease of getting on and off the bike. The step throughs fit a wider range of inseams because you don't have that top bar to contend with. It's also really handy if you come to an abrupt stop. There's not a top bar to run into with your front parts. So nobody wants to do that. So that's the Thudbuster. And again, so if you are considering getting one, just have a look at the minimum seat height of your bike, check out your inseam, and then add about 3 to 4 inches to that minimum seat height. Now, with a 29-inch inseam, I'm not going to leave my bike all the way down. You don't want it, you can see my seat pretty much lines up with my hip, because when I get on my bike to ride, I'm going to go up and back. I will fall off if I jump on there now. So you are going to raise your seat a bit above your inseam, but you might, if you're right on the cusp, you might want to consider the difference that that seat post is going to make. Okay. Perfect riding position and how to adjust the bike to you. I'm going to show this one off. So a lot of that comes down to your seat height, your stem height, and how your legs are while you're pedaling, and what it looks like when you're standing over. So for me, on mine, I'm gonna step over. Whoop. I can comfortably stand flat-footed over my bike because it's a step through. If this was a step over, no bueno, I'd be up on my toes. You don't want to be on your tippy toes. The balls of your feet is ideal. Does somebody want to hold the tail end of my bike so I don't beef it? Thanks, SJ. When I get up to ride, you want knees bent, and I should be able to touch my toes to the ground when I come to a stop, just in case, but I'm not flat-footed. Thank you. A lot of people think they want to be flat-footed. That's actually not super safe. So you're going to want to adjust your seat up so you are kind of like on your tiptoes, and when you're pedaling, at the bottom of your pedal, you don't want a straight leg. So you're not going to want a straight leg on your pedal. You're going to want some bend. Right? You also don't want just little, because when you come back up, you're going to knee yourself in the chest, and that's no fun either. So those are some of the basics, and we are putting up articles on how to do that with maybe some photo examples of what that should look like. And I just want to show off a couple of different models that we have in our lineup right now to kind of show off the difference, because it can be kind of hard to visualize. So in the Stunner family, we have our Stunner Step Over and Stunner Step Through, which are right here. Just going to wheel one back. This is a Stunner Step Over in the beautiful emerald green. As you can see, for a cruiser bike, it's actually pretty tall. This one is one that at my height, I don't find comfortable to ride with my 29-inch inseam, just because of the standover bar. It's kind of deceptively tall, and it does just come in the one frame size. Super fun bike. But then we do have it in a step through. Right here. So it's technically the same frame size, but a lot more accessible again. This one I would be more than comfortable riding again, because it's a lot easier to get on and off of. We recommend that one kind of for like 5'4", 5'5", and up. Then we have our Swift Step Through. And I wanted to show this one off today particularly because for a step through, it feels a little deceptive. It does have the bigger size, like diameter tires. And it looks like a smaller bike. However, it doesn't always fit the shorter people. Getting on and off is easy, but it does have a fairly tall seat tube length. So for instance, for myself, would be okay, but like getting up and going, it's a little taller than I would like. Sometimes folks want to try this one for shorter folks. So like SJ, if you just want to pop in and show the deceptiveness of the Swift.
So
my hip is here, my natural waist is here. So you can see this is very tall. Very tall. It's a 17.7, I think.
Yeah, we don't want to try getting on because it's just going to be...
It's going to be sad.
It's going to be sad. Thank you. So that one can be a little bit deceptive for folks. The Stunner X comes in two sizes, the 26 by 4 and the 27.5 by 3. I have a 27.5 by 3 here, but it is somebody's bike who's in for work. It was unfortunately in a bit of an accident. I don't really want to show it off too much, but it does fit the smaller folks, kind of 5'3" and up. I do have an LT 26 here to show you. This one has its seat way up, so the seat height is a little deceptive right now. I can bring that down. Is a big bike. Now, earlier, you were going to say, Shannon, I thought you said you're not going to see an e-bike in a size 26. Why are you calling this one a 26? Well, in the case of the Stunner LT and the Stunner X family, we actually sized them not by traditional bike sizing, but by the wheel sets. So in this case, it has 26 by 4 inch wheels. The Stunner LT 24 by 4 inch wheels. The 23 or the 20 by 4 inch wheels. Same with the Stunner X. The large size is 26 by 4, which is the Stunner X 26, and then the Stunner X 24 by 3 has 24 by 3 inch wheel set. So that's how those ones are measured. The frames do change between the two. So as you can see, this 26 is actually quite big, and that is true for the Stunner X 26 as well. And maybe Alex can come do a side-by-side because I don't want to roll that one around. Or maybe can you come and like just do a shot from back here and just show the 24 next to the 26? Just so we can have a quick idea of what we're looking at sizing-wise. All right, you're chained up. So here's the 26. You can see those big fat 26 by 4 tires. Here's 24 by 3s. These are a street tire. And you can see too just the difference in frame sizing and height. So they are quite a big jump between those two. So something to consider. That Stunner X 24, like I said, fits folks generally in the 5'3" and up range, but check your inseam. Fantastic. All right, do we have any other questions in the chat for me?
A couple questions about two-seater bikes.
Two-seater bikes, like a bicycle made for two? So cute.
Just like a passenger on the back.
Oh, like a passenger on the back. So like the Skycap. I don't have a Skycap here to show you in person, but you can check one out on our website. It is a cargo bike. It does have, like all our bikes that I've shown you today have racks. These racks are only rated for about 50 pounds on the ones I've shown you today. So I wouldn't really recommend putting a rider on it. It's just not the safest plan. But the Skycap has a solid rack that's like more built towards the frame. You can check out the photos on our website, and you can actually get a seat pad and put it on that rack, and it has little pieces on the bottom for a footrest, and you can carry a lot more cargo on that bad boy. It's a pretty sweet ride. Maybe we'll have to do a Skycap tour in a future video. Let me know in the chat actually if there's any bikes in particular you would like us to do a bike tour video of as a future live. We can run through that. But for two-seaters, I would recommend looking at the Skycap and just keeping that weight limit in mind. I believe it's 350 on the Skycap. It does have a rigid front fork, which helps with that, but it's also a hub drive motor, nice powerful one. But there's still going to be some limitations, but that is for the full bike, so you can have a rider and a passenger, or a rider and a bunch of groceries, just however you set that rear rack up on the Skycap. Anything else for me? All right, so thank you again for tuning in. Apologize for the noise, but it's Friday. We're trying to get your bikes out to you, and that's just what we're working with today. It has been excellent chatting with you. Thank you so much to all of my Lovely assistance in the video today from the CX team, and then Gavin from the Little Bit of Everything team. Join us again next week when I will be on vacation, but you're going to have a special guest host for how to ride your e-bike. All right, thanks so much. Have a great one.